that we live in a society that I feel that most people are unaware of what they're doing. I went out this morning to run 2 errands. Go to Walmart, go to Lowe's. Walmart spent $132 unnecessarily in overpriced food. I didn't buy steak, I didn't buy chicken, I bought dry goods. I have allergies, so I can't buy the cheap mac and cheese. I gotta buy the rice-based pasta, which they inflate. And this is the world that we live in today. They're killing us with cost increases. And these fat cats in Washington don't seem to care. They pass all these budget approvals and let's send money to gay people in Pakistan so that they can have transgender awareness. Let's help Sri Lanka fix some boat of theirs. Let's get transgender studies in Afghanistan. This is no joke. I work my butt off, and every time I go to the store, I feel like I'm getting raped. And I don't even get to enjoy an orgasm for it. That's what really gets me. And you look at other things. You go to church. And do you realize that most women don't realize what I'm about to say? Women have a privilege in America that most of them fail to realize. They will not suffer or get treated, or they don't go through what we go through. They do not. They are rude in the church, they are rude in their car, they are rude in the store. They're rude as your coworkers. They can have attitudes, bad attitudes. They can say rude comments. But the minute you do anything that offends them, you are going to a free, all expense paid trip to HR. Probably lose your job. You go to church. And we're gonna get into some serious stuff, so fasten your seatbelts. You go to church, you're saved, you're not perfect, nobody else is. And before all the clowns and fools get on saying, oh, you're judging everybody, you're judging me, so shut up. Well, the minute you say you're judging, you just judged. The minute you get on here and say you're weird, you're mental, you just judged. Okay? I believe in empowering people to rightly judge, or judge rightly. The Bible does not tell us that you cannot judge. You have to look at the context. Jesus said, judge not lest you be judged, for with the measure you use, he'll be used against you. Who is he talking to? Was that basically to all of humankind? Was it to a group of people standing on the mountain? Was he looking at the religious leaders who were standing all around him, waiting to trip him, test him, and trip him up? He said, why do you behold the speck that is in your brother's eye, but there's a log or a rafter in yours? First, remove the beam. Then you will see clearly. What is Jesus talking about? Number one, unsaved people judge us. Oh, man, do they judge us. They judge us. Oh, he calls himself a Christian. Oh, he just cussed. Oh, he just committed adultery. They judge Christians. But watch this. Watch this. They're judging us by the law of God when they themselves have broken it. They're not saved. They're not under the blood of Jesus. And they're judging us? They don't have that right. Read on about what the Apostle Paul says about the lost people. If they judge us, God is going to throw it right back at them. You judged my servant Michael, but Michael is in my blood and he realized he's a sinner. You, on the other hand, you're judging everybody by a standard which isn't your standard, but I have a standard and you didn't even measure up to mine. Who do you think you are? But let's talk about this. If a child lives with criticism, he'll learn to criticize. Welcome to Michael Nelson. How may I direct your call? So I learned over the years I was criticized badly. I was told I was no good. I was told I was a fail. I was called a complete fool. I was laughed at, teased for my thick glasses. You know, this is a weakness. I hate these things. They cost too much money. These are $400 now. I mean, the industry is raping us. Just to get a coating, a thin coating. That'll be another $100. It's ridiculous. And the coating doesn't do squat. I had people judge somebody on my channel, a moderator. Her name is Bridge. People would leave comments about her language, about some of the things she'd say in the live chat. And I used to be like that. I've got a problem with profanity myself. I moved to Richmond County, which is the worst county I've ever lived in my life. The kids out here are extremely rude and disrespectful. The culture is extremely rude and disrespectful. It's 53% African American. And they have been conditioned to believe that whites are privileged and whites are racist and Republicans are bad. So I moved here because houses were cheap. I do not have one close, solid male friend in this area after 6 years. Not one. I haven't dated anybody. Now, there's been some women, black and white, that have been interested in me. I was not interested in them for various reasons. One, I like her as a person. We're still in touch. She smokes like a chimney. The other women that showed an interest in me smoked pot, smoked cigarettes, got drunk regularly, and had kids who were out of control and were rather large. Not my cup of tea. But you go to church, you're a Christian. Lady tailgated my M35, rode up my butt all the way down the road, coming home. You get to where the intersection widens before the stop sign, you can go left, or you go right. It's a T. When she can, she gets around me, speeds up, goes to the stop sign, no turn signal, and rolls and does a California stop. She's an older woman. When you look at her, she's got that curmudgeon, crabby look to her face. She's not older by much me, but she's crabby. She'll never say, good morning, Michael, how are you? This church is small. There's a few people that go there, do not speak to me, do not say hi, have never welcomed me ever. And the pastor and the music leader keep talking about, we want this place to go, we want this place to grow. I don't know if they're aware that churches across the United States that are that size, bigger and smaller, are shutting their doors for the last time. I don't know if the people in my congregation are even aware that the way some of them looked down their nose at me when I came in with my long hair and my log chain around my neck. And there was some opinions about that I can pull a video off. One day I did a Sunday video, shut off the chat, I had 45,000 views. I'm like, that's bigger than a town in Montana. That many people. And it hit me, I'm not some big stuff, okay? I'm not a content creator. I'm not a YouTube star. I'm a YouTube artist, I guess is what they call it. I don't consider myself an artist entirely. I speak what I believe. I believe there's a need for that in America today. I believe that a lot of people are silent about things. The old saying, don't talk about the elephant in the room that everybody knows is there. Well, dang it, let's talk about that elephant because it's knocking everything over. We need to talk about the elephant in the room with regards to the African American community because they're making a lot of noise and they're doing a lot of criminal stuff and they're starting to press in on white women more and more. And I'm really getting tired of grown black men that talk tough and think they're stronger and mightier than me and more alpha are tearing up women that have done nothing to them. And we see this media silence and we see this stuff. And I go to the stores today and it's rude black woman, rude black woman, rude black woman. You go to Walmart, you go to these stores where these stalkers are putting stuff away. They're blocking the whole aisle, and you say, pardon me, and they're irritated because they have to move all their stuff out of the way so you can get down the aisle. And there's no other way to go. I had one when I was at the self-checkout, big, bottom lip stuck all the way out. She's standing right behind me. I'm like, why is she that close to me? And I turned and I looked at her and I went, she just goes, all that cellulite, can't get out of its own way. And I thought, you know what? That's just such a freaking poster child of what I see with black women. Fat, obese, no customer service skills, obviously looking at me as a white chump. You nod, you smile. And then when I go to leave in front of somebody else, as I grab my card and go, thanks for coming to Walmart, have a nice day. I didn't even turn my head. I'm like, oh, now you want to be nice. I'm sorry. I'm a man. I'm human. And all you butt effing trolls that want to come on here and leave your dumb comments, go play somewhere else. I'm tired of a society. I work hard. I'm not a star. I don't expect a parade for me, but I expect a level of decorum when I go out there, especially when I'm spending my hard-earned money in a store where you're getting paid, you're employed, and the prices are going up, and you can't even smile. Say, hey, how you doing today? Is anybody with me on that? And you go to church. And I've said this over and over. It's supposed to be the best part of your week. It isn't for me. It hasn't been for years. And I struggle with lust. I spend an inordinate amount of time looking at porn. I don't pay for it. It's the free stuff that you can just pull up on a search. 2 women kissing, or a woman taking her bra and top off and dancing or posing sensually. It's sad because I can't have any of those women. Can't have them at all. And I've learned something. I can't even get a date with any woman that looks like any of those I've seen in the porn. And my friend made a correction about Sophia. She made $6 million a month. She's not going naked, but she's wearing lingerie. And $6 million a month wearing lingerie, doing OnlyFans. So all the grown men, and probably young too, slobber all over her, throwing their money at her. And I'm going to be honest. The next time somebody says to me, I have white privilege, is anybody throwing money at my channel? No. And the biggest critics on my channel donate a whole $0. You turned off the chat. You did this. You did this. Why are you wearing that? This is free, man. Why does it matter that I please or don't please you? I'll bet you some of you that watch my channel are donating to foolish ones. I'll bet you $1 million you'll send money to Ewu, to the girls taking off their shirt or a half shirt that comes just below their nipples and are prancing around like this. You'll pay for John MacArthur. You'll pay for all the big suit and tie preachers. You'll pay for Jordan Riley, who thinks he's the only right Christian in the world. Yeah, you got those on there too. And I do get mad. If you guys saw what I do and what my job entailed, and you know that I'm 59, and you know that I have energy, and you know I'm strong for my small size, but I'm getting, as the blacks say, I'm getting tired. Bruh, I'm getting tired. I'm getting older. I cannot make a big buck, no matter what I do. Well, you should have gone to college. Yeah, get in debt, go to college, learn a bunch of toxic slop and communism and Marxism and evolution, which I don't agree with. Why should I pay to go get an education that requires me to believe that crap? Tell me. And yeah, don't get me started on the universities. Don't even get me started on that. But church! I go to church on Sunday. I don't look forward to it anymore. I'm a dutiful man. I'm a disciplined man. I don't sit with the people. Just like when I rode the Hong Kong ferry. I didn't go up to the passenger areas on the first or second deck. I sat on the capstan because I'm a free spirit. When I go to the Sunday school class, there's chairs along one side of the wall. There's all the tables. Everybody sits at the tables, not me. Most of the people sit middle in the back of the church. I sit about the fourth pew from the front by myself. I like space, and I cannot lie. I don't want to sit up close to these kinds of people. I don't even want to deal with them. And people criticize Bridge. And let me tell you about Bridge. She's had a struggle with some health issues. She has a boyfriend that cares about her. She lives in Rhode Island, and this woman, E-Rock and I were talking about her last night, has shown immeasurable kindness to me, sent me gifts, sent me my favorite juice, has donated to the channel, has always been an encouragement to me. She's a spitfire. She's a firecracker, and she'll say things in chat that most Christians go, oh my gosh. And people judge that. People were writing and leaving comments. Mike, it really bothers me. I come to this channel to hear about God, and I don't like seeing that. Was one somebody a while ago. I said, well, I'm glad she's here, and you're going to have all kinds of people come here that aren't going to talk just like you. And, you know, am I here to make everybody behave themselves? Or am I here to have a forum where maybe God could work on people between God and them? And everybody wants to get on and talk about my clothing. I'm going to say something right now. I don't give a rat's ass anymore about how I dress. I go out there in society, they suck. I get in my truck, I use my signal, I go the speed limit, I stay in the right lane. People do whatever the hell they want out there, and they judge people. They judge people for going the speed limit. They get angry when you're in the right lane going the speed limit. They get angry when you're doing the right thing. And it doesn't matter how I dress. I can wear this shirt before I cut the neck out of it and cut the sleeves off it. And I could look like a wallflower out there. Are people going to treat me any better or any different? No. I had a woman at the swap meet that I bought puzzles from. Probably won't be doing that anymore. She'd always talk my ear off. And she even come and look. I got this new place to rent, the stall, the flea market, and I even bought that stupid tiger from her. Last week I had my sweater on and the half shirt. Wow, why are you going to dress like that with your stomach out when it's cold? I said, I'm warm. And she goes, well, I got to make money today. You need to. She goes like this. Oh, I'm a kid. Run along. Didn't we just have that happen at work by old Joe? And I said, all right, you have a good day. When I go there tomorrow, Michael's going to cruise on by. And when people don't accept me, that's their right. But when other people there hug me in front of everybody, when you got a Native American that says, I love your style, I love your free spirit, it's so neat to see a man who's free. But I'm not free. I'm a caged bird by the construct of our society. And it's sad when you can't, and I don't go to church wearing this. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to go to church wearing this because it would just cause too many problems. First of all, I don't think any woman should come to church dressed like this. But I've gone to a lot of churches, and there's a lot of women that got this strap dress and all this going on. Nobody says a word about that. The Bible says something about modesty to women. That's gone in today's 2025 among Christian women. And I see a lot of contradictions out there. And people want to judge me. Why is he wearing that? Why do you do that? Your channel's not going to grow. You cut off the chat. You've hurt thousands of people. Really? Is that why it's gone up 1,000 since you've said that? Is that why the membership or the subs, you go, look, I'm not Sophie. I can't lay back in lingerie as a guy and get $6 million a month. I would love to get $1 million just once. Because Michael would make it last the rest of his life. If you think I'm going to go out there and go foolish, no. I'd buy that one truck that I want. That'd be my only foolish expenditure. And I wouldn't joyride it. I'd drive it prudently. I'd sell this house and I'd get out of here. I don't like Augusta. I mean, it's home for now. God brought me here. He led me here for a reason. Still not quite sure what it was. I think more than anything, he put me in dry dock over here to learn about me. And I think he also learned me to get an education about African American culture. And I think that has been immeasurable. It's been a curse and it's been rewarding at the same time. A lot of the people that judge me have no self-awareness about themselves. A lot of black people out here think they're the definition of I'm not sure what. They don't look at themselves. They don't look at their affect. They don't look at their behavior. They just on society. And I still struggle with anger about getting fired from transportation. I struggle when I see people call me and there's still people that have jobs still doing the same thing, yelling at people, being rude to people, and HR and the superintendent didn't give a shit about that. They don't care. And I realize that what has happened in society is white males, we're under attack. They'll put a woman in a position, a white woman or a black woman. They can be horrible people skills. They can be a shitty employee. They're not in danger of losing their job. Ever. Because they're a female. Us, I did a 3-minute video at the house here. And some people judge that. And I lost my job. And that 2 months unemployment, unloading the truck, because I didn't know what was going to happen. That was a significant financial loss. And there are people who say, well, you did wrong. You should think about what you did. I did think about what I did. I talked about a white woman getting beat down in Cincinnati by 6 African Americans. 2 of them were women. Neither one of them looked like ladies. I referred to them as savages because that's what they were. You live in America and you're just going to savagely attack women. They didn't do anything to you. They didn't say anything to you. And one of them was let out of prison. And that woman is suing this city, the police department, and even a judge. There's some lawsuits, as there should be. And our country is attacking us. We're still the majority in America, us whites, and we are being forced to be woke. We are being forced to not offend the black community, not offend the refugee and the illegal community. I work my ass off. Illegals can come over here, start a landscaping, and make tons of money and buy diesel 4-door pickups and have 20 people living in a house, and they got more money than I will ever see in my life. And then they're the ones, I see them glaring at me at the flea market. I'm thinking, hombre, you're in another country and you're giving me a dirty look. Imagine if I went to Mexico and I stood there and looked at the Mexicans like, I wouldn't even think of doing that. And you got a clown that comes on my channel on a regular basis. Oh, you talking about your son. You have no right to talk about your son. Who the hell are you, Andrew? You made a video death threatening my son that YouTube had to pull down. You judge me, then you judge this one, and then you come back and you judge me, and you play both sides of the fence. And I don't celebrate Christmas, but yesterday you come on the channel as Maximus Queen, because obviously you're still trying to figure out what sex you are. 10 years of this. 10 years. I know there's a devil. There's a devil every time I go out my door. I'm happy when I stay here. You go to work, and you got another Christian being a butthole. You know, it only took me a minute to find that. Not, hey, Mike, I looked for it and it was back there. It was hidden, but I found it. Oh, okay, thank you. But you got to make it known to me that Michael made a mistake. Michael, contrary to what others think, when I make a mistake, I own up. And my coworker's a big black man, and he said, I don't like him. I said, I don't either. He said, I saw the way you handled that, but he said, he don't got a right to talk to you that way. I said, nobody thinks he does. Instead of just saying he found it, he's got to rub it in. And I went through that bin. I went and dug, and there's big machinery parts that I couldn't lift. The opening is that big. I've got half my chest up in there, and I can't move these items to see if it's underneath there. And I looked around the front, and there was a lip on the front. There was a box. The box looked that big. Well, it was a small thing underneath the box, and you couldn't see it. And that's the second time he's done this. The people that look at all the specs. He's driven people out of his department. He doesn't get along with the manager over that department that does way more work than he does. He's a bossy about it. He wants to be in control. He wants to tell people what to do. There's women like that. Those are the ones that join HR and management because they want to control you. And I don't live in a normal society, and if people have a problem because I do this, open your eyes, bud or chiquita, and look at what people are doing out there. I can't go to work in any place and have freedom of enjoying my job without some butthole that management protects, that management doesn't deal with. There's always one or more. Always. Their productivity sucks. And even if you work for Christian bosses, you think it would be different. No, it's not. It's tough, folks. You go into a store. The people that work there, their faces look unapproachable. Women today don't look sweet anymore. They just don't. I saw a white guy, balls to the wall, in a Dodge pickup. I'm going 65 on the interstate. Hauls around me. No turn signals, doing all this. Slows down for the exit, and I see the big firefighter sticker on the back window. Yeah, I remember that in Colorado too. Your job is to save lives and be safe, and you're driving like a complete moron. And they got all their things to brag. I'm a firefighter. I'm a fireman. Well, good. Get your little plastic hat with that little rubber string, because you're acting like an idiot. Or, I'm a Purple Heart vet. Black guy hauled around me one day, passed me on an exit ramp, got in front of me, and he's got Marine Corps, vet, all this stuff all over his arm. I'm thinking, so you served our country, but you're being an ass on the streets. So I'm supposed to be supportive of that? I don't look at things the same way. When I was in Colorado, you can buy a license plate that's pink that says, "Find the cure for breast cancer." Every woman that had that on her car drove like a awful. And I even told my Korean girlfriend, I said, they're worried about finding a cure for breast cancer, but they're not worried about the fact they're endangering everybody's life on the road. And she even looked at me, she goes, "But Mike, those aren't one and the same." I said, "How's that?" I said, "You're putting advertisements on your car. You're concerned about the cure for breast cancer, but you're not concerned about safe driving. Safe driving has immediate consequences. I get to live. I don't get to get hit. Now, finding the cure, that's a good thing, but, or I love my dog. Yeah, and you drive like a dog. I voted for Biden. I voted for Obama. Yeah, that's why you don't use turn signals. But wait, big giant Trump MAGA stickers on the back of these lifted pickups. Speed limit doesn't matter. Turn signals don't matter. Why does everybody advertise and there's no changed behavior? Me, what you see is what you get. Mike, you need to change your clothing. You need to change your hair. You should get contacts. Why are you wearing a woman's shirt? Why are you doing this? How come I'm not endangering anybody's life and acting like a butthole at work, on the roads, in a store, and in church? Can any of you major on all of those at the same time? I can. So you wear the right clothes and you never say a cuss word, and you'll judge Bridge on here. Some of you judged her. And how you doing in the other 4 departments? Do you drive? I'm going to say something right now. If Christ doesn't start in your car, shut up about your Christianity. Just shut it. And Chuck Swindoll said that years ago. He said, get rid of those honk if you love Jesus and real men love Jesus when you're going to drive poorly. It really puts a bad taste in people's mouth. You sit there and scream and yell that Jesus is the reason for the season. Well, Jesus should be the reason that you follow the law and are a respectful driver and you signal your intentions. And if you miss your exit, you don't slam on the brakes on a freeway and cause a semi-truck to almost wreck because you don't want to miss your exit. Miss it and go on and be safe. And I don't view the world the way most Americans do. Let me set that right now. I don't need to, I don't want to, I don't have to. And that's why many of you are on this channel. Because you know there's something amiss out there. I'm not the problem. I'm not the one that created legislation where your property taxes are going up. I'm not the CEO of Walmart that said, everybody's stealing from my stores, so I'm going to punish all the honest people by charging more for groceries. I don't care to be professional or corporate because they're monsters. What is the definition of professional today? Suit and tie, CEO, cheat on your wife, get away with it, steal everybody's money so you can have your heaven on earth? I don't want nothing to do with that. I want to keep it real. I already know that if you were to put me out there, that 99% of America would hate my guts. I don't care. They don't believe the truth, most of them. They don't pay my salary. They don't help me in my life. I'm going to say what I need to say. And the church in America is a joke. I ought to come in wearing a dang dress. Pastor said, what are you doing? I'm going to make a point today. Just leave me alone. Link to the past. You're the idiot and you'll be banned and reported. Thank you for your rude comment. You're not a link to the past and you're not a link to the future. You're probably a link to the lake of fire. Enjoy the ride down the greased pole. No picture, no YouTube videos, and all you did was create an account to leave brown skid stains on a porcelain bowl. That's it. I don't like corporate America because they're not your friend. They are just like television preachers and Joel Osteen and Paula White and all these clowns, Stephen Furtick and Kenneth Copeland. Have you ever listened to that guy? He wears a suit and tie. Joyce Myers dresses professionally. Paula White, Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen looks like a relative of Gavin Newsom. They're screwing the pooch. Hello? Isn't that fun? Claiming to be ministers. It's amazing that people throw their money, millions and billions of dollars, at those clowns. And people will get on my channel and criticize my dress. They'll criticize Bridge when she's on here about her language. But I'm going to tell you something about Bridge. She knows God. God ain't through with her yet, just like he ain't through with me yet. And that woman has more heart than most of the people that come on my channel and watch this. How's that for shaboom? And that is what I want to talk about. You can go to church in America. You can become a member. You can fold your hands. You can stand up, sit down, pray. You bow your head. You can make everything. You wear the right clothes. You can get baptized. You can get saved. You can be rude to people. You can be unfriendly to people. But you don't cuss and you don't commit immorality. You don't masturbate and you don't look at porn, but you're a jerk for Jesus. Huh? How's that? How's that work? How is that? And that is a problem today. Oh, but some of you don't notice that because you're part of that clique. You get along with all them. I don't know what your problem is. She's really nice to me. To you. I used to be. If I'd have met Bridge many years ago, I would have been judgmental and self-righteous as hell. And as I've gotten older, I realized something. God looks at the heart. You know, the stuff that comes out of this is what's in us. Okay? And there's a lot of fake plastic people. My mother wore the right clothes. My mother out in public, there's nobody who would look at her and would be able to judge her. Meanwhile, I was being abused and scarred. I've been around corporate geeks. They're losers. Their little gay gelled hair, standing around the water cooler thinking they're badasses. They haven't worked a hard day in their life. The little pencil pushers and, how you doing? Well, I'm doing well, yeah. I'm going to take the wife out. I'm going to take the wife. Only a loser would call their woman the wife. The wife, huh? And all your gay corporate crap. Let's make it seamless. Logistics, solutions. You all copy each other. You all retarded. You come up with gay, uninspiring logos and you charge them. I tell you what, I hate corporate America. And Americans are the biggest sheep. Just like they'll join Joel Osteen's church and all these false churches. They'll get behind every corporate buffoon out there and make them filthy rich. Without even a thought about it. Oh, Do you go to Starbucks? No, I don't. A liberal clown runs Starbucks. A liberal clown. Congratulations. When you pay these people, you're paying them to throw billions of dollars at a Democrat leftist party that seeks to destroy sanity. I live in Augusta, and I'm going to tell you, every town and every place that I've lived in that is predominantly Democrat is a shithole. Now you factor in mostly African American, which are Democrat, it gets even worse. Now, does anybody know why I'm not close to people? I never thought that I would say this, but living in America is dangerous. Colette, she said, I don't ever want to come to America. I see your news and it's awful. Make America great again. We're not making it great at all. It's getting worse. Manners are gone. I've already beat on the dead horse of the way women have become in this country, but they're clueless. They don't realize. They get up in the morning, they got a pair of tits, they got privilege, that's it. They go to work with that attitude, they can be rude to people and still have their job. They get on TikTok, they can wear something like this. And the same guys that criticize me and the same women that criticize me get on the channel. Wow, she's so pretty. And the guys go, you're really hot. You're so beautiful. You're sick, people. You're sick. But I have content that comes straight out of the heart. No one wants to pay for that. And I didn't start the channel with that in mind. People jumped on me for cutting off the chat. Did you donate a dime to this channel? That one. Why is it that everybody wants to play bossy butt? Spend $8 or $9 for Starbucks. Mike, you should monetize your channel, said one who's never donated a dime and said, I'm not going to donate. Why are you telling me to monetize, but you said you're never going to donate? Why? That makes no sense. Do you know why I don't monetize this? Because they'll shut me down. It happens to all the conservatives all the time. The minute they monetize, YouTube sees something they say that's offensive and wham, they pull the monetization. I'd rather go. And I set up a Cash App that people want to donate, that 100% of it comes to me and not 40% to YouTube. And I don't want my dang videos littered with stupid ads. Because I don't believe in corporate America. And I don't believe in what Google is doing. Every damn video I turn on to hear music, they got 2 ads that have nothing to do with me. Garbage. And you can't turn them off anymore. You got to slog your way through this garbage. Read how much Google makes in a day of advertising, people. Do some facts. Go right in there to AI and say, how much does Google make a day? How much does YouTube make a day, a month, a year? That'll shock you. When Mark Zuckerberg spent, what was it, 300 million? 300 million when Biden was running for voting machines. You got to ask yourself, what was Mark Zuckerberg spending $300 million of his money on voting machines? Aren't voting machines supposed to be provided, through the cost of taxes? Were those voting machines rigged? I don't care what anybody says. You can program a computer to flip votes. Anything that registers Trump goes bing to Biden. Nobody wanted to talk about that on the left. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Remember when Trump won first time? Hillary Clinton didn't show up to her viewers for over 24 hours. Even Jimmy Carter, when he lost to Reagan, he stood there. I'll give him credit for this. Well, we tried, and he faced his people. Hillary Clinton didn't do it, and Kamala Harris didn't do it. These are professionals. These are college-educated women. These are women that are enlightened. These are women that call Trump. What did Hillary call us? She used a nasty word. I can't remember what the word was. Not incorrigibles, but something. And Kamala, they called us Hitler, neo-Nazi, skinheads, white supremacists. I have never in my life supported white supremacy. Ever. I remember hearing years ago about those skinhead Aryan Nations groups up in Montana and Idaho. I wouldn't buy real estate anywhere near that kind of stuff. No way. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in Aryan race. I don't believe in supporting Nazism and supremacism by anybody. And that goes for the black community that thinks because somebody can dribble a damn ball that they're suddenly a god. No, you're not. You get to play sports and get overpaid crybaby. I work harder than that clown does. And Americans, we're getting screwed. You go to work to make your company rich, and they don't treat us great. They never do. You got to have a college degree to get that top position. You do not physically go home with your body sore at all. Office politics. And we got an upside down society where the people building the pyramids and the slaves that build the entire society are getting kicked in the balls or the vagina that move all this stuff, that keep everything running every day, while some clown with a degree can stand there and look down his or her nose at you. I hate corporate America, and I will never apologize for that. They're evil, they're greedy, they're bastards. And God says something in the book of James about that. Woe to you, rich men, weep and howl, for the miseries that will come upon you. You have heaped wealth in the last days. Are we in the last days? We were when Jesus set foot on earth. It's 2,000 plus years later. We're definitely there, folks. Corporate America is going to stand before God. And I know for a fact he's going to judge them. You had your heaven here. You oppressed your workers. You withheld wages. I did not. I gave them a paycheck. No, you did not give them a paycheck. You did not give them a fair paycheck. Have you ever noticed how different corporate people are than you and me? They are cutthroat. They would never put me as the head of a school district or a company. There is a way of acting and ass kissing and a game you have to play to get there. I cannot, will not, Sam I am. I will be real, even if it means the death of me. Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Why entangle yourself to slavery? Corporate America enslaves us. They teach us a lie. You have to have that new car. No credit, bad credit, we'll get you in that car. Look at the erosion of goods. You're paying more for junk and getting less today. Just like televangelists, Joel Osteen, Paula White, Joyce Myers attract sheep, corporate America does too. They get everybody to get all hooked on their shit, buy their stickers, buy their brand. You know, North Face, LL Bean, Land's End. Oh, you're an advertisement, honey. You're not an individual anymore. And then Michael comes along and just experiments. I like my sexy shoulder. What's wrong with that? You're a man. So that ceases to make me a man because I'm wearing a piece of cloth over my I got news for you. I'm not a sissy. I don't face life as a sissy. But when churches are judging everything, long hair is a sin, the chain is a sin, dressing like a woman is a sin, homosexuality is a sin, lust is sin, masturbation is sin, porn is a sin, but you better hurry up and get married. Yeah, and all these Christian bitches. And then they'll end up in divorce and they'll end up in a struggle. And then for the next 30 years, my pastor is going to tell us, we're going to have marriage retreat seminars to try to restore our marriages. Okay, Pastor, how about if we go back to the beginning? How about if we start convicting and confronting women and their narcissism and their outrageous, unchristlike behavior, which is dominant in the land today, instead of beating up on the men? Maybe we wouldn't have as much of a problem with porn, masturbation, and lust if the women were to be a suitable helper to the men. And now it's the woman, we gotta do everything for them. We're supposed to be their helper, their slave, their servant. Where does it say that in the Bible? Nowhere. But American women have taken a chain somewhere, pulled the net of all us simps into it, and went, come here, boys. Do what I say. I watched a woman at Denver schools, a Hispanic female. She bragged she was in gangs. She's a tough talking, I don't know what. I watched Hispanic males eat out of her hand. She was not a 10 on the scale. She bragged that she had conquered many men in the bed. I was massaging my Filipina friend's hands. They were very sore, and I was deep tissuing. She goes, wow, that feels good. Other women come by, what are you doing, Mike? She asked me to massage her hands. All of a sudden, at Denver schools, women came up and said, Mike, can you do my hands? Wow, okay. And the worst one in the room, that she was rude. I didn't like her. Mike, people are coming back to me telling me that you're good at massage. Can you do my neck and shoulders? I came that close to saying, hell no, I ain't putting my hands on you. And something said, just do it. Stood behind a chair in the break room. Got up in there, said, man, you got some knots in there. Her friends came in and opened the door and they're like, Jolene, whoa. I know y'all looking at me. I don't let nobody touch me. But Mike's good. He's getting these knots. Oh my gosh, is he good. You know what though? She put herself out there like she was a sexual diva. When I was massaging her, her skin was like marshmallow. It was so bagged out. She had done that gastrointestinal bypass, lost a tremendous amount of weight, you know, and the skin just sagged like lunch lady arms. She had all that going on. And yet, the Hispanic males wanted to eat out of her dinner at the Y. And one of the guys I really liked came up and he was starting to hang out with her. I said, you and her going out? Yeah. I said, you better be careful, dude. She's a damn shark. And one day, I cared about my friend. He was Mexican. He said, Joe, didn't you tell me you got a boyfriend or something? She said, yeah, I got a boyfriend. I said, is it Vince? No, it ain't Vince. It's the guy that you always saw me with, but he's not working here no more. Vince came up to me a day later and he said, Mike, I'm glad you did that. I feel so effing stupid. I said, women, they will feast out of your belly and wipe the corners of their mouth with a napkin and walk off. And I said to her one day, I said, you know, you talk tough talk, but you have absolutely no muscle. Boy, don't you be telling me that. I said, I am telling you that. You're all intimidating and you're all mouth and you're like a damn chihuahua. She said, better shut up, boy. She started laughing. I said, it's the truth. I'm rubbing you down. There's no muscle in there. You talk a big talk. These little buttholes that get on this internet and say WTF. Congratulations, you know 3 letters of the alphabet. Loser, you're a grown man and you know 3 letters. That's great. I don't give a crap what you think about me. I'm better looking than you. I've got talents you don't have. I don't care. It's amazing you got all this pond scum in America, dregs, that think they're all that in a hoopty. Where does that crap come from? The father of lies. Thinking more highly of themselves than they ought. See, I was beat down all my life. Beat down, abused, told I was ugly and nasty, and girls made fun of me in the school because of these. I'd like to see every one of those women today. All them cheerleaders. Tracy Glover, who walked right around the racquetball court and said, hey, Nelsie. I'd like to see them. 59, I'd like to line us up. All the Mammoth School kids that I went to school with. And I would be going, who is this? They'd be naming names. What? I had a picture. I wish I still had it when I was in middle school in the Owens River holding the inner tube and I was standing in the shallows. My chest, my body, and my face and everything is still the same. Even my mother said everybody in the family, their looks changed so drastically. And Michael has just, God chose the foolish things of this world to confuse the wise, and I'm a foolish thing. And God gave me energy and he gave me longevity for my youthfulness. And he got these butthole trolls that never stop. They're not going to be like this at my age. I promise you that. Especially when you look at the comments. They're probably smoking dope, cigarettes, drinking, hard living. Man, when they're 25, they're going to look like hell warmed over. Whatever. But I want to know something. Why do people judge a bridge who's got a heart of gold and she doesn't think she's perfect, but she comes up with some pretty witty, smart-ass stuff that makes me laugh, and people are all concerned? I tried very hard not to cuss. The Bible says to put away profanity. The Bible says a lot of things about how we're supposed to live. I'm not going to deny that. I want people to realize something, and I'm going to say it again. I am not where I want to be in my walk with God. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I want to. But I struggle. I got up this morning. I think most of the time I have a pretty positive attitude until I get out there in society. Going anywhere in this society is depressing. When you're not a believer, life looks good because the world shines on you. when you're a Christian and it's 2025 and you're a male and you're a white male and you live in a mostly African-American town, the women don't like you. The blacks don't like you. The liberals hate you. And then other Christians with their little diapered saint mentality got saved and they never grew up and they're back there were sucking their thumbs. And I say that you got so many women Christians that are just childish, laughing at dumb stuff, gaining more and more weight. I'm not talking about those that can't help it. Dyeing their hair fake blonde. And they look at me and I'm not important. How do women get to the point where they think only their lives matter? Only what they think is important. The rest of us sucks to be us. I felt it out there today. I just felt it. You know what? And what bothers me is that people don't realize. I'm going to tell you a story. When I bought this house, there's a family living next door. They were black. Nero and his wife and the 3 little girls. I got to know them. And we got along fine. He smoked his pot. I could smell it wafting through the yard when I was doing yard work. They didn't bother me. Some kids down the street knew him. Come over. They had a basketball stand in the front yard and they'd shoot hoop. I'm in here, right here. And I hear some bang hit the front of the house and I go out real quick. There's a rock that big. They're trying to throw it through one of the windows that used to be on the porch. Oh, what the hell? I over to say, hey, boys, what's this? And the girls said, they did that. I said, I know they did that. No, it was the girls. I said, grown man, you're going to tell me that girl did that. I know that girl didn't pick that up. They don't have anything against me. And the one young boy ran his mouth. I said, man, I never did anything to you boys. I've always been nice to you. And Nero come out. I said, Nero, I'm in the house. They threw that big rock. And then the boys limping off to me. And I just told them I've been nice, never done anything, said hello to them. And even Nero, black man, said, what is the matter with you boys? What he said is true. He never done nothing to you or us. He always nice. Why are you throwing rocks at his house? Go home. And they took off. A couple days later, this was during COVID. I had to drive the handicap bus because we were delivering food to all the kids when they shut down the schools. And we had all this leftover food. And they said, Mike, what are we going to do with this? I said, we're going to go through my neighborhood because I know people who could use it. Like the family next door, because they told us, don't bring it back to the cafeteria. Give it to the homeless, give it away to people who can use it. Knocked on the door, one of the boys answers. They didn't live over there. I said, hey, the lady here? No, man, she's not here. Or no, she is, but she's in the back. I said, I got some food bags for her. And the kid looks at me, the older of the two. I thought the little boy had done it. He says, hey, man, I'm sorry about the other day. He said, I didn't mean to throw that rock in your house. I'm sorry. I said, wow. You admitted it, and you apologized. I said, I forgive you, young man. I said, can I tell you something? You see that bus? I'm not rich. You see that house? Every time you do something, that costs me. Whatever issues you got going on, could you not take it out on me and my house? Maybe one day I could hire you and I could pay you to do some work or something. Not in the house, but something. Really? I said, yeah. But don't do that to me. I'm not your enemy. Years ago, I would have called the police, which is what a lot of white folks do. I handled it my own. The house across the street was a grandma. Nobody was living there, and the pine needles and the trash and the mess built up outside their fence between the road. I said, where's your brother? Oh, he grounded, man. I said, well, guess what? I'm going to hire you today. I'm going to rake up all that. And I want you to put it in the bags and put the bags in my big red truck over there. And I gave him $20. And while he was doing this, he says, man, it feels good to do right. I said, that's what I'm talking about, young man. And I noticed his hands were all damaged. I said, what happened to your hands? I was playing with matches and I burned myself years ago. I said, did you learn your lesson? Yes, sir. I said, I'm pretty cool, huh? I'm not the jerk you thought I was. And he put his head down and he said, I'm sorry. I said, no, you're forgiven. I said, do something with your life. One day I backed in my truck and he would come and running, hey man. And I'd bring him snacks or stuff. They'd throw out stuff. And I gave him the chips. Do you got any? I said, I don't got any today. And this young middle school boy was standing there and he had his hand down his pants and was grabbing his balls. And he said, can I come in with you? I said, no. Well, I've been in that house. I said, you may have been in that house, but I said, it's not safe for children and I don't have children come into my home. And I've learned something about kids and I've learned something about people. That when you're nice to people, and I said, why is it you're not at your house? My mom always yelling at me, man. I come over here because Nero's cool and I shoot hoop and stuff. And I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to tell you something, viewers, and you better get this straight. When you're mean to people around you, and you're nasty to people, it does something. Not just scars, but it also can screw you up to where when somebody, same sex or opposite sex, is nice to you, there's a direct connection. That kindness goes straight to your sexuality and you start feeling aroused. Now, I did not have designs on a boy, and it bothered me, but I saw the signs. I ran a troubled respite home years ago. And this punk-ass troll named Andrew comes on here is a disturbed grown man, 10 years attacking. He doesn't know a damn thing. He's just a troll. And I say that because he came on yesterday running his mouth. And every time he comes up with a new ID, he gets blocked, and more blocked. It's sad that when you're nice to somebody, I haven't dated in 7 years. This society here in Augusta is not a sweet place. I wouldn't recommend anybody move to Augusta, ever. Or Baltimore, or any of these places. But God brought me here, led me here, and this is what it is. And I've learned something about sexuality. You got all these girls tantalizing us, holding that carrot in front of our face, dressing inappropriate, TikTok queens, girls being provocative and slutty online, but you can't date them, can't have them. And you got Sophie showing herself in a negligee and then telling everybody, I'm saving myself for the right man. You're being an internet whore, and you're hiding behind some religious facade that you're saving yourself for the right man while you're being a stumbling block. And Sophie, I wish you'd hear me. You are sinning, girlfriend, and God is going to judge you for that. Better a millstone be hung around your neck, girl. Jesus said it about little ones, but that goes for all of us. You're causing people to stumble, lady. And you're waiting for the right one. You're saving yourself for the right one while being a slut tease. You are not worth 5 cents. And it does anger me that people will throw money at that crap. They won't throw money at this. And to you men and women that get on my channel and complain about things about me, go away. You don't donate, you don't have any say. You want to give me enough money to make a living at this? Then I'll consider you one of the board members. And then I'm going to listen to you. Because if you feel that I'm a company and I'm running a business and you're funding me, then you got a right to call some of the shots. But since you're not funding it, you don't have any say. You can have your opinion, And they're like buttholes. Everybody has them and they smell. That's where it's at. Put up or shut up. And the same goes for these churches in America. You don't cuss. You wear the right clothes. You look like a Christian. You're not changing the world at all. Booyah. So, now that I said all that, invented my spleen on the internet, nobody has recently said anything about Bridge. But I wanted to address this. I wanted to address this a while ago. Because you know what? Thank God that He saves us. And even though we don't look like we ought to look or act the way we ought to act. And somebody said, well, Mike, you just contradicted yourself. You're judging everybody in church. Because they don't have basic human kindness. Okay? So I will judge that. They worry about cussing and dressing and fuss about all this stuff. But they're horrible to people. They don't make anybody give any reason for people to want to come to that church. No, it's not going to grow. Why would it? It's stupid. Who wants to go to that? Bunch of dress barn chicks that have an attitude. Okay. Stupid. Stupid. And there is a problem. You got people all across this nation who think they're so full of wisdom and authority just because. They automatically assume they're better than me and everybody else, and you just look at them and go, okay, little Cessna, you're flying at 300 feet. And while you're looking down your nose at me, I'm way up here. People having too high of an opinion about themselves. I'd rather have a bridge for a friend or a girlfriend than these fakes that show up on Sunday and play a dumb little religious game. I don't thank people for your likes and your attention. It's Friday, December 26th. You can do anything you want. And you chose time to listen to this. I'm honored. Thank you. Stop trying to put everything in this nice, neat little box. Some of us aren't in a box. Or a bun. Have a good day. I'm going to do some painting on the back of my house today. Try to be productive. Try to be a bright spot in my dark, dark world. Thank you to the men and women that encourage me on this channel. Thank you to the men and women and the young people that are saying they're getting something out of this. Thank you. I'm proud of this channel because there's none like it. I'm not trying to copy nobody. I'm not a brand. I'm not a corporation. I'm a free spirit. And that's the way God made Michael. Don't try to corral me. Don't try to tame me. I will be like a horse. I'll rear up on my back legs and I will kick your little fence down and I'll go hee and jump right over it. You want to know who I am? Watch Stallion, Spirit of Cimarron. I love that movie. It's for kids. But I'm the horse. I'm only going to let somebody get on my back that's earned a right. I'm only going to listen to a woman that's won my heart and my respect, and because of her profound ways, has earned my respect, where I say, honey, I will listen to what you say. All these loudmouth, bombast, in-your-face women, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go, what? Go away. The people that have an impact on my life are not one damn troll or so-called relatives. Please. I value their opinion as much as I value the stuff that comes out of that sphincter every day. Flush. Have a nice day, people. God's not done with me. So if you think you're the architect and can fix me, try again.